All right, composite shapesters, in this video, I'm going to guide you through page 662. I just felt like it would be easier to kind of show you what to do rather than try to explain it in a lot of typed up words. So, on page 662, after you read what we need to succeed, then the directions say to use 2 pattern blocks to make each shape. Draw a line to show your model. Well, those are great directions. The only problem is we don't have pattern blocks because they're back at school. Whoops. All right, so we're going to improvise, and the way we're going to do that is we're just going to make some educated guesses, which is what mathematicians and engineers and scientists and leaders do. All right, so on number 1, they give you 4 choices of smaller shapes that might combine to make the larger composite shape. So there's a rectangle, and then would it take 2 diamonds, or 2 squares, or 2 trapezoids to make your composite shape? All right, well, you know the question tells you that you're trying to make this composite shape out of 2 smaller shapes. Another way to say that is you're trying to divide your bigger shape into 2 smaller shapes. So I'm just trying to make sure that I'm setting this up so I can free up my hands. Hopefully you can see okay. All right. So what I did, just like on the blue arrow pages, I can't draw on this. This isn't a smartboard, but I did trace the shapes that you have in number 1 and number 2. So in number 1, you've got a rectangle. And so if you were going to try to divide that rectangle into 2 equal shapes, you would just go about halfway across the top of the rectangle. Doesn't have to be perfect. Make an educated, estimated guess. And then just draw a line right down the middle. And if you do that, you have 2 equal shapes on either side. And what are those shapes? Yes, they are squares. So your answer choices were, would it take a diamond, 2 squares, or a trapezoid to make that rectangle? The answer is, of course, 2 squares. So please circle the 2 squares. And yeah, I know some of you are probably saying, well, they gave you the answer because I had 2 squares. Well, be glad they gave you the answer because they're making it easy for number 1 for you. Number 2's a little trickier. All right, so for number 2, you've got a triangle, and your choices to make that big triangle, would you combine a square with a triangle, a square with a trapezoid, a square with a diamond, a triangle with a trapezoid, or a triangle with a diamond, or a trapezoid with a diamond? It's got to be 2 of those shapes. They don't give you 2 shapes to pick from like they did in number 1. So, again, you're going to try to make some educated guesses here. All right, well, what did we do for number 1? We just drew a vertical line right down the middle. So let's try that. If we draw a vertical line right down the middle, what do we get? Well, you do in fact get 2 triangles. However, they're not the same triangles that the answer choice gives you. The answer choice says that they would be triangles that look like that, not triangles that look like that. See the difference? The answer choice is a triangle where the vertice at the top is halfway across the bottom line. Okay, but these triangles are triangles where the vertice at the top is in the same line as the vertice at the bottom. So they're not the same shape as your answer choice. So if it doesn't work out to make your vertical line halfway down the triangle, let's try making a horizontal line halfway down the triangle. All right, so this is what I'm doing. I'm going to make another, I'm going to trace the shape that's on the page. I can see it faintly through my white paper. Then I got to stick it and click it. And now I'm going to take my black marker, and instead of making a vertical up and down line, I'm going to make a horizontal line about halfway across the triangle. Is it perfect? No. But let's see, if I, with that line, if I trace the shapes below and above the line, below the line, what is that shape? That's a trapezoid. What's above that shape? The triangle. The same type of triangle that's in the answer choice, where the top angle is halfway across the bottom line. So our answer choices do give us a trapezoid and a triangle where the top vertice is halfway across the bottom line. So the correct answer for number 2 is the green triangle and the red trapezoid. So one really important thing to keep in mind is we had to make an educated guess. For number 1, we made the educated guess to draw a vertical line right down the middle, and that worked out right away. But for number 2, when we made an educated guess, the same idea, vertical line up and down right away, that didn't work out. But if at first you don't succeed, try again. So that didn't work out. So then if a vertical line doesn't work out, try the horizontal line. And when we did the horizontal line, then we had 2 shapes that were in the answer choices. So persistence and stamina always pay off. All right, excellent. So now we're going to skip pages 663 and 664 and go and work on 665 and 666. 666. Hey, what kind of number is 666? You're right, it's a palindrome. Another point for first grade. All right, cheers.